Coming to you live from Concordia Stadium here on this Sunday afternoon for women's soccer action as the visiting Lake Forest Foresters come into Concordia Stadium this afternoon to take on the hometown Concordia Cougars here today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon edition of September the 5th, 2021, as non-conference play continues early on here for the women's soccer team for Concordia Chicago, as the Cougars will look to get themselves into the win column for the first time this season. Rob Hill, as always, by your side this afternoon, your play-by-play broadcaster, as the Cougars are looking to rebound and bounce back after a poor start to their 2021 schedule as they traveled all the way to St. Mary, Indiana to take on St. Mary's University in their last game, their first game of the season back on September the 1st, and where they are outscored 3-0 against St. Mary's, and that will go alongside a couple things that the Cougars will look to improve upon. Certainly, Shani Paul, the head coach for the Cougars this season, will look to have some things to improve upon for her girls getting ready this afternoon. As you can see, both teams taking the field, getting ready to start this one this afternoon, as the Cougars will look to rebound in a big way against their loss against St. Mary's, and where they were outscored 18-6 in totality in that game. The Cougars were only able to acquire one shot on goal and 6 shots in totality. That will be one of the 3 keys to a Concordia victory today. On top of that, it is also the home opener for this girls soccer club for the Cougars as well today. Using the home field advantage for Concordia will also be very prevalent this afternoon. And, of course, getting off to a quick first-half start, the Cougars were outshot in the first half 8-3 and outscored 1-0 against St. Mary's back on Wednesday. And we are off and running this afternoon. Quick advancement on the front right side. First shot on net will be stopped. So a quick early attack from the Foresters early on as a clear will end up past midfield and will take a friendly bounce. Past midfield. Now bringing it up the left side. Down in the left corner, a quick scrum. 4-4-2 formations working for both sides today. We'll pass along the starting lineup shortly for both sides. Lake Forest now on the attack. And that will be a corner kick on the side out there. Overhead toss back into play. As Concordia will try to clear this one out of their own end. And on top of that, talking about a non-conference rivalry, usually not too many of those take place. However, this is certainly a very important game for multiple reasons for this Cougars group. Of course, trying to get their first win of their 2021 season. But on top of that, trying to get the monkeys off their backs, being the Lake Forest Foresters, who have dominated the Cougars historically, dating back to their first ever matchup back in October of 2004. Concordia has yet to win a game, and this now being their 16th year, and playing Lake Forest, trying to conjure up an attack here down the front right side. Loza volleys it in front of the net, will not be able to get to that one. And that will get out of play. Talking about Lake Forest's dominance over Concordia Chicago over the last 16 years. 9-0 and outscoring the Cougars 38-3 over their first 9 matchups. As right on cue, Lake Forest is trying to conjure something up right over the midfield. Good touch pass. Broken up nicely. And the defensive end by Concordia. Good active feet there from Carissa Walters, number 9, the midfielder and defenseman, the senior from Zeeland, Michigan. All over that play down in the back left corner. Corner kick now set up for Lake Forest. Nice clear from Concordia defensively there. Good scoring opportunity for the Foresters. Goes by the wayside for the time being. That will stay in the field of play on the far right side. Something that Concordia Chicago had troubles with in their last game against St. Mary's was keeping St. Mary's out of their own end. They were completely dominated on their half of the field, and that's something that the Cougars will look to try and rearrange here in their first home game this season. Good sets of passes down on the far left side now being brought up from the Cougars on the advancement, unable to complete the pass there up the far left side. Now be given over to the goalkeeper and Maggie Kirsting. Still about 40 minutes left in this first half, about 5 minutes gone by. Now bringing it up the far right side. Under 40 minutes left here in this first half. Good headbutt executed by Lake Forest and back the other way. Good tackle there. From Walters once again, she has had her fingerprints all over the defensive side of things. One of the 4 starting defenders put out by Shani Paul this afternoon. Lake Forest trying to conjure up an attack, and there she is again, Carissa Walters, with an excellent clear. And now let's see if Concordia can produce some sort of attack. As there goes the quick feet by Loza up the front right side and knocked down nicely from Chrissy Kuahara, the freshman from Anaheim, California, for Lake Forest. This one scurries away for the time being, but is gobbled up quickly by Kirsting. Maggie Kirsting, the senior from Cincinnati, Ohio. A very solid clear. And for the most part of this first half, Lake Forest has done an excellent job up to this point. Putting on a lot of pressure on both sides of the field. That's something that Lake Forest has done extremely well. As always, very high regarded, led by their head coach and T.R. Bell, who has been the head of the women's soccer program for Lake Forest College since 1996. A career 248 wins, 150 losses, and 20 ties over his 15-year head coaching career up to this point. Preseason polls that were released in the Midwest Conference, the Division III conference that Lake Forest plays in, had them released second in the preseason polls, right behind Cornell. Of course, those preseason polls put together by coaches and head officials throughout every conference. That one will get on to play. The Cougars are looking for some success this year after a COVID-shortened year last year. And where the Cougars only saw 10 games played in totality, 3-6 with one tie as well. However, over the last 2 years, they have had a positive record at home here at Concordia Stadium. Overhead pass that is quickly knocked out once again. This one will go to Lake Forest. Concordia working backwards, now working over midfield. A good succession of passes here. Now brought over to Walters. Moved out to Brittany Chancellor. As Chancellor sees that one broken up once again by Kuwahara. Down in the far right corner. Close to 10 minutes have gone by in this first half. A couple of shots on goal for each side so far. No fouls up to this point as of yet. There was certainly a ton of contact, a lot of unclean tackles that went on during Concordia Chicago's opening game back on Wednesday. 9 fouls in totality for these Cougars. So that one is volleyed right into the middle and broken up quickly. Chancellor scurrying to this one. Boots it up the far right side. Loza trying to get to this one, and that will be knocked out of play, and that will be granted to the Cougars. Couple of headbutts. Few scurries, and now Lake Forest will bring it back down the other way and with some momentum. Good lead pass. And this is the best opportunity Lake Forest might have, but is broken up quickly by Walters once again. Carissa Walters has been excellent so far for the Cougars here in this first half this afternoon. Walters from Zeeland, Michigan. Last year, she appeared in all 10 matches for the Cougars and was first among position players with 939 minutes played. As most defenders usually are, Walter certainly one of the more reliable left backs around. Broken up quickly by Allie Brown. Moved up the right side. Broken up by Lake Forest as that one will be knocked out of play. And Concordia will have another opportunity to inbound this in the field of play towards Lake Forest. Now will be out the back line and into Lake Forest's possession. 32 minutes left and ticking here in this first half on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon edition of Division III women's soccer between Lake Forest and Concordia. 79 degrees here this afternoon in River Forest, Illinois. Corner kick. That is quickly in a middle of a long jam. Couple Cougars fighting for it. And all Lake Forest can do is kick this to the far left side of the field. Cougars have put on ample pressure to what is usually a very reliable defense for T.R. Bell and his Foresters. Kirsting with once again another clear and a great one. Quickly brought up over midfield. And knocked out once again by Lake Forest. Concordia has had a couple of chances early on. They've applied a lot of pressure to Lake Forest down in their end. However, for the Foresters, they do have a lot of depth and experience, especially in their defensive end. Talking about that a little bit more, Alexa Kotsevas, the senior from Troy, Michigan, a senior. Number 2, Alessandra Nepa, the 5'9" sophomore from Santa Rosa Valley, California, on top of that, who was a standout defenseman last season for Lake Forest. And now down in the far right corner, a Cougar down and a not so great scene here at Concordia Stadium. As Brittany Chancellor is down and is staying down on the far right side. Down to the right field corner, a scrum that ended up with her getting the worst end of that tackle down in the far right corner. And hopefully she's all right. And it looks like the medical car will be brought out to attend to Chancellor. So one of the rare situations in where the clock will stop here, of course, to tend to a medical injury, as all eyes are on Chancellor, and hopefully she's all right. The Naples, Florida native. Looks like she will be out of this one for the time being, as she'll get a nice round of applause from the fans here today, and hopefully she's all right. Chancellor, one of the starting forwards, listed to start for Shani Paul this afternoon, including Malika Kenworthy. So Chancellor, the junior who was one of the main attackers for this Cougars offense, now out of action for the time being. So that is a huge loss to Concordia. Corner kick now for Kenworthy. Volleys it over the middle. Chasing it down is Brown. And will not be able to get to this one. Right around the 30-minute mark, close to 15 minutes played here in this first half. Now moving up the front left side. Pass is broken up. A lot of red jerseys down that far left sideline. And talking about the entry into this ball game will be Paige Falkenstern, the 5'8" junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, will be taking the spot of the currently injured Brittany Chancellor. Getting a good look at Falkenstern there. Broken up. And moved up from Bernesser of Lake Forest. Now over the middle, over to the right side, broken up once again by Concordia. That will be a foul on the play there. Tripping initiated by Lake Forest, and that will allow a free kick for the Cougars. Now over midfield, trying to conjure up an attack over to Falkenstern. Over by the right side, pass missed up to the intended Loza. Compared to what the Cougars produced on Wednesday against St. Paul, the energy in this first half has certainly been there. However, no results as of yet. And close to 17 minutes played here in this first half. 28-23 and ticking here in this first half. Scoreless up to this point. Nowhere to go with that intended pass. As Brown moves it over to Falkenstern. Up on the close side. As that one will get away from Loza. And that will be in possession of the Foresters. Keeping that one in was Kuwahara. Kirsten clears it. But not cleared enough. As Lucia Falone now gets it over the middle to Calderon. Brown now fighting for it. Concordia keeps it. Shot put on net. Now will be gobbled up by Kirsten. Megan Wilkinson getting her first shot on net in this game this afternoon. Lake Forest to inbound have made a couple of substitutions so far for both sides. Cougars utilized 19 players in their game on Wednesday against St. Mary. Allie Brown and Carissa Walters logged every single minute out at Patricia Widener Purcell Athletic Field. Looks like they're going to have to get a heavier workload today. That was last touch by Concordia. Out past the back line. Corner kick now for Lake Forest. Just their second corner kick that they've had in Concordia's end in this first half. And a great opportunity and a hard tackle made there by both Cougars defensemen. And that was the best opportunity that the Foresters have had up to this point. Great combination tackle there from Wilkinson and Fernandez for Concordia to blow up that opportunity for Lake Forest. Right around 25 minutes left here in this first half. Cougars and Foresters still looking for their first score. Close to 20 minutes in. And that will be into the reliable hands of the goalkeeper this afternoon for the Cougars. And Cassie Salenzi. Salenzi, the junior from Carpentersville, Illinois. Attended Jacobs High School. About 40 to 45 minutes out. from Concordia University here in River Forest. Slenzi, who was the starting goalkeeper, as a matter of fact, for the Cougars last year, and their 3-6-1 2020 abbreviated season last year. She lettered in soccer all 4 years at Jacobs High School as well. As she might be put to the test here, as Lake Forest looked like they had something going down the far right side, and now it's Concordia back the other way, and they have numbers over the midfield. Touch pass not made. Instead of clearing it, Lake Forest gives it right back to the Cougars. 3 white jerseys on the far left side. Shot put on goal and knocked down by Kirsting in net. Not the greatest angle on that kick from Itzel Calderon of Concordia, Chicago. That is certainly one of the biggest factors that fourth-year head coach Shane Paul would certainly love to see out of her girls this afternoon is energy and aggression, especially in the offensive end. Shot on net here is going to go up and over the hand of Cassie Salenzi, and the first marker put up on the scoreboard will belong to Lake Forest. A powerful strike to the top right corner. As substitutions are made, the Foresters will have the first lead of the afternoon here in the first half. Goal scored at the 23-minute, 14-second marker here in the first half. Cougars now trying to get back on an offensive attack. Falkenstern chasing this one down in the far right corner. Broken up once again by Chrissy Kuwahara. That one will be out the back line, and that will be in possession of Lake Forest. Going back just a few moments ago on the goal scored by Lake Forest to give them their first goal. This afternoon scored by Julia Larson. Larson, the senior from Minneapolis, Minnesota, one of the elite goal scorers over the past few years for the Foresters. Now on the attack is Ella Manthe up the front left side. And a clearance kick out towards the sidelines for the Cougars. Lake Forest looking to put on even more added pressure. As Concordia now has gone almost 110 minutes in their first game and a half this season without finding the back of the net up to this point. Two shots apiece for each team here in this first half. 2 shots on goal for the Foresters, one finding the back of the net. Broken up nicely by Allie Brown. She gets it. Over to Walters, working her way up. So that one gets away from Larson for Lake Forest. And we will see how that one is officially scored. as it will be a foul on Concordia will be granted to Lake Forest. That is just the second foul in this first half for the Cougars. Peyton Tabor now working things over. Broken up nicely by Wilkinson. Down the far right side, Wilkinson fighting for it, and that will be granted to the Cougars. Now under 20 minutes left in this first half. As always, a 15-minute intermission between halves. Slenzi getting ready to punt this one away. Far left side of the field, that is kicked around and knocked down for Lake Forest as the Cougars will look to continue to advance things. Hard tackle there. Bodies colliding. Foul called. And that'll be given to Lake Forest. Free kick granted. Right around the 18-minute mark left. 18:34 and counting down to be exact in this first half. Cougars who spent most of this first half in Lake Forest is then only have 2 shots to show for it, only 1 on net. However, the second part of this first half has been completely dominated by the Foresters. Pushing up the far sideline. Now back onto the feet of Larson. Quickly over to Falkenstern. As the forward for Concordia, unable to get to that one. Lake Forest ball now quickly. Nearly off the face of Allie Brown. Has a great lead pass, but unfortunately too strong on the forward touch by Brown, as that could have been a breakaway opportunity for Concordia. Thinking better of it is Wilkinson, just getting it right back to Salenzi. That is the one thing that Concordia is looking to improve upon, most likely going into half number 2. Is connecting on their passes in the offensive end. Allie Brown, as always. Far left side of the field as Concordia is certainly taking their time trying to advance the ball. Lake Forest keeping them on their half of the field. Cougars trying to advance it through midfield. An errant pass goes awry. Broken up nicely from number 8 and Grace Glodowski. Glodowski, the Plainfield, Illinois native from Plainfield Central High School. The sophomore. Second-year defenseman under Shaney Paul. Foresters in their blood red unis, as always, pushing up the far right side, and that'll be labeled out once again. 15:40 and ticking down here in this first half, with Lake Forest leading 1-0. A goal scored at the 21:38 minute mark by Julia Larson. Her second goal. And this being game number 3 for the Foresters. So far this season, Lake Forest 1-1 coming into play this afternoon. Their second away game they're playing already. 1-0 in their first home game. In their first away game, I should say, is they shut out Edgewood College back on September the 1st, 2-0. The aforementioned Julia Larson, who has scored the only tally in this game, scored her first goal of the year back in game number 1. Touch pass, unable to connect with Catherine Peticolas, the midfielder from Godfrey, Illinois, on the far right side for Lake Forest. As this will be inbounded from Glodowski right at the midfield marker. Couple substitutions now being made for Concordia with 14:19 left to play here in this first half. The spacing so far for Lake Forest here in this first half has been excellent up to this point. That one will scurry away and will be granted to Kirsting. Back over to midfield for Concordia. Broken up once again, this time by number 4, Ariana Panza of Lake Forest. Brown now bringing it over. Far left side. Deep into the left corner for the Cougars. High volley towards the middle of the net. Broken up, still in possession of Concordia. Glodowski now with a high kick up and over and in. Grace Glodowski with an absolute boot over the leaping hands of Maggie Kirsting. And for the first time this season, the Cougars have found the back of the net. Not too often do you see Grace Glodowski getting in the midst of the offense for the Cougars. But they found their answer here in the first half. And for the first time all season, Concordia is on the scoreboard. Glodowski set up perfectly by Paige Falkenstern. So the forward setting up the defender. And that instance, although Glodowski certainly can qualify as a midfielder as well, with how much she plays in open space towards the middle part of the field. So hopefully this is just the answer that the Cougars were looking for. Also have to give a lot of credit on that play as well to Allie Brown for setting up that entire sequence down on the far left side. And was able to move that one from one side of the field to the other before Falkenstern set up Godalski perfectly. Lake Forest now looking to get back on the attack. Knocked down nicely from Brown. Lake Forest connecting on a lot of passes here in Concordia's end and right on cue. That will come to an end abruptly. Swallowed up by Salenzi. Now will go out to play down the far left sideline, but this has to have a lot of meaning for Cheney Paul and her women's soccer program. Talked about at the top of the broadcast, trying to get the monkey off their backs. That being this Foresters team. As now the Cougars are once again pushing up the far right side once again. Touch pass to Falkenstern that she cannot handle and is broken up. Once again by Kuwahara. Foul called on the play, and that will be given to Lake Forest now on a free kick on the foul by Falkenstern. Free kick. Head butted off the top of the dome from Brown. Push to the right side. Lake Forest now back in possession and quickly. Over to Glodowski. That will be knocked out by Gabby Garceau, the freshman from Rye Beach, New Hampshire. Starting to see more and more freshmen here towards the end of the first half. Brought in by T.R. Bell from Lake Forest. But talking about that equalizer from Glodowski, scored just moments ago by the Cougars. That was just the fourth goal scored in 10 career matchups now against Lake Forest for Concordia Chicago. Lake Forest now working in their own end, clears it towards midfield. Far sideline advance by Lake Forest. And that one will not be kept in, as that will go. And I believe possession of Concordia, last touched by number 17, Ella Manthe, the forward from St. Charles, Missouri. Cougars with the toss in right towards midfield. As that will advance things even further. Interesting strategy there. Lake Forest now back on the attack. 4-4-2 formation. Utilized as always by the Foresters. As that will be knocked out once again. As that will stay in Lake Forest's possession. Cougars trying to stay strong for these final 7 minutes of action here in the first half. Last thing that they would want to do is give back any kind of momentum, and it looks like they might have some here. A scrum down the far left sideline. That is eventually broken up. Does that appear to be Jalissa Diaz in on the action for the Cougars? Diaz, the freshman from Chicago, Illinois, attended, John F. Kennedy High School. After the throw-in, the Cougars looking to cook something up once again in Lake Forest's zone. Nice advancement there. Touch pass to Falkenstern. She collects it and advances it down in the far right corner. This will be tough, but the blazing speed of Brown tried to center that out in front of the net, but was broken up nicely. Once again by Chrissy Kuwahara. Kuwahara, who has done a great job as the starting right back for this Foresters club here in this first half. 3 shots on net for both sides here in this first half, as that is broken up quickly. Leaping out of the goalkeeper's net right out in front of the penalty box was Kirsting. First time here this afternoon that Kirsting on a clear is unable to get it past the midfield marker. As that will stay in possession of Concordia. Three fouls apiece to both sides. Cougars have had an extra corner kick up to this point, 3-2 against Lake Forest here in this first half. Most important thing to note, however, about the Cougars' action on offense is that all 3 of their shots have been on net. So no shots have been wasted so far by the Cougars. Allie Brown once again in the middle of a ton of action and gets taken down there on a rough tackle on the far right side, and that will be a free kick for Concordia Chicago. Time ticking off the clock quickly here in this first half. Cougars looking to possibly conjure up one more offensive attack. Advancing it in open space. Puts a shot on net. Does Lucia Falone. Touch pass to the far right side by Lake Forest. Moved up around midfield. Foresters with just 1 shot on goal here in this first half. See their opportunity quickly broken up by the Cougars. And here comes Concordia Chicago. Once again, a good lead pass that the Cougars are able to keep in Lake Forest's end before being cleared out once again. Cougars have done a great job rotating to close here in this first half. Touch pass over to Petikolas for the Foresters. Petikolas once again chasing after it for Lake Forest. Getting over there quickly is Glodowski. Shot on net goes awry, is broken up by Walters, as this one will trickle in and get into the back of the net off the hands of Salenzi, and Lake Forest will go back on top 2-1 here in the first half. That goal scored at the 2-minute and 33-second marker here in the first half. It looked like Concordia Chicago was starting to gain all the momentum in the last 10 minutes of this first half. However, the Foresters have made the most of their opportunities down in the Cougars' end. Foresters once again back on the attack. Ball will stay in possession of Concordia Chicago. Talking about that goal just moments ago that regave the Foresters the lead at the 42-minute, 25-second marker. Amon Shepard with just a high volley that kicked off the hands of Salenzi and found its way in the back of the net. So right after the Cougars, I'm certain, had to have a lot of momentum going their way and a lot of high hopes after scoring their first goal of their young season. Has seen momentum shift quickly here with right around a minute to go here in this first half. Shepard with her first goal of the season for the Foresters. Now with Lake Forest with their second goal of the afternoon, and all of their 3 games played so far this season, they have scored at least 2 goals in every matchup that they've played. Coming into this matchup today, averaging right around 9.5 shots per game and 2 goals per game on net, as they nearly had their third there set up perfectly out in front of the net. However, Larson was unable to fire that opportunity home. Salenzi with hopefully one last clear for the Cougars. So that one will get out once again on the far side of the field. Overhead toss into the field of play. Kicked down by Brown, and that is how we will end this first half here this afternoon, as Lake Forest has taken a 2-1 first half lead against the Cougars. Up to this point, the goals scored here in this first half, going back and talking about it before the second half starts, and just right around 15 minutes, Julia Larson, right around the 21-38 mark, got Lake Forest on the scoreboard. About 9 minutes later, the Cougars got on the scoreboard for the first time this year thanks to Grace Glodowski. However, Amon Shepard at the 42-25 mark gave Lake Forest the lead once again. And that is what they will have going into the second half of play this afternoon. Welcome back, one and all, to the second half, getting ready to begin here at Concordia Stadium. This, of course, Sunday afternoon edition of Division III women's soccer between the Lake Forest Foresters and the hometown Concordia Chicago Cougars. An exciting first half that took place. 3 goals scored, 2 in favor of Lake Forest, who currently have the lead. And the Foresters, despite having the 2-1 lead, the Cougars have led. And a couple of other categories in the first half, such as shots on goal, 4-2 against Lake Forest. Corner kicks, 3-2, trying to give themselves more opportunities. And shots faced, as Lake Forest had to face 5 shots to Concordia Chicago's 4. And the Foresters will start off with the ball. Sides flipped, of course. Now going from south to north is Lake Forest, north to south for Concordia Chicago here to start this second half. The Cougars, who were able to find the back of the net thanks to one of their best defenders in Grace Gladowski. Right around the 21-minute mark in the first half. Right around midfield as the Foresters push it to the far left side, something that the Foresters did very well compared to Concordia Chicago in the first half was their ability to make that lead pass and connect on a succession of passes down in the Cougars' end. Concordia Chicago executed one perfectly, of course, on the aforementioned goal to Gladowski in the first half. So if there was one big thing for the Cougars to improve upon, is to, of course, make their opportunities count. As one of the 3 keys that I talked about on the top of the broadcast today, talking about what this club would have to do to pick up their first victory of their season was to get more shots on goal. Cougars have done that well so far. However, 1 goal is not going to get the job done today. As that will be a side out on the far side of the field. Trying to figure out exactly what formation Lake Forest will try to get into. As this will be dropped for a free kick by the Cougars. It will now be inbounded. For those that missed the first half of play today, a very unfortunate injury, something that, of course, nobody ever wants to see happen, especially the fans here today at Concordia Stadium, seeing Brittany Chandler, one of the more reliable forwards, one of the 2 starting forwards today put out by Shani Paul and her group, went down with an injury early on in the first half. She has not seen the field since, had to be taken out via the medical cart here at Concordia Stadium this afternoon. No update on Chandler as of yet. However, Paige Falkenstern has subbed into her spot. Allie Brown might target her here on the far side of the field as she rounds back around. There's the aforementioned Falkenstern, who's unable to keep the ball in the field of play. She was the one that set up the Gladowski goal back in the first half for the Cougars. Something that Concordia Chicago will, I'm sure, will try to do a lot more of here in the second half if they have anything to say about it. Brown was certainly energetic and very quick compared to most of the defenders for the Foresters in the first half. It'll be a huge responsibility on her. And, of course, Lucia Falone as well, to try and work an open space in the midfield and try to advance the ball up the wings for the Cougars to try and get more wide-open shot opportunities on net. Lake Forest now conjuring up an attack, volleying it out in front of the net. That is broken up quickly by Megan Wilkinson, the defender from Georgetown, Kentucky. Close to the first 5 minutes concluded here. In the second half of play this afternoon, an absolutely picture-perfect day for a game of soccer here in River Forest, Illinois this afternoon. You can see the gorgeous backdrop of Concordia, Chicago, and the background here today. As that overhead inbound pass will scurry its way out of the premises. New ball flown into play in possession of Lake Forest for the time being. Ball in possession of Hannah Steffi. Steffi now back over to Napa. Napa now over to midfield. Touch pass broken up quickly by Valeria Fernandez. Just the second time her name has been called this afternoon. Fernandez had a very active first half. Ball stays in possession of the Cougars. Brown touch pass out in front of the net, broken up quickly and cleared out by the Foresters on the back end. Foresters now trying to bring it up in attack. They have numbers going the other way. And a heads-up play by Gladowski on the far side of the field to get that one back into the possession of Salenzi to allow the clear. Talking about the minutes played today so far, Falone, Fernandez, Walters, and Brown have been out there every single second for Shani Paul this afternoon for the Cougars. A little bit more flexibility has been issued for Lake Forest, as Larson is the only girl for the Foresters this afternoon to have logged every minute. Julia Larson, of course, with the first tally for Lake Forest early on in the first half, the first goal scored today between both sides. That will end up being cleared down the far right side. Broken up by Brown. Tries to center it over the middle, and a great clear on the back end from Faldy. Push down the far side. As a foul will be called there on Concordia, Chicago. Not the spot where the Cougars wanted to allow Lake Forest to have a free kick here. This one will certainly try to be played on net if the Foresters can successfully get it over the middle of the field. Salenzi ready. This one is going to be put on net and just over the top goal post. So a missed opportunity there for Lake Forest. Lake Forest, who had just 2 free kicks to work with in the first half. That being their first here in the second half of play. Close to 10 minutes already off the clock up to this point. No shots have officially been put on net as of yet. Let's see if the Cougars can change that here. 3-on-2 for Lake Forest. So that one is broken up over midfield by Alessandra Nepa of Lake Forest. Falkenstern now on the far right side. A lot of red jerseys surrounding her. Stops, finds Brown as that one will kick off her front right neon cleat. Into the reliable hands of Kirsting in net for Lake Forest. Excellent clear there from Kirsting. Something that Concordia Chicago is unable to do here. As up the right side goes to Hannah Steffi. She'll try to keep this one in play and does. Steffi now trying to center it over to the middle. That is knocked out. Great defensive play there from Wilkinson. Talked about the Cougars' inability at times to complete passes made in space. Something that they will try and do here, as now the Cougars will have numbers coming out over midfield. As Falone gets over to Falkenstern, far right side. Falkenstern tries to center it towards the middle. Just one lonely white jersey there, as being taken down is Itzel Calderon, as she is now starting to limp, trying to stay on her feet, as that was certainly a hard tackle initiated by the senior from Troy, Michigan, and Alexa Kotsevas. Right on cue, Kotsevas with the clear, right around midfield. Lake Forest back in possession. Far left side. Whistle is blown. A foul called on the play to Concordia Chicago. I should say to Lake Forest, my apologies. Free kick granted and knocked right back out. Fouls have not been too much of a problem for either side so far this afternoon. Lake Forest with 5, Concordia with 4. 6 shots on goal, however, for the Foresters, just 2 of them on net. However, both on net did find the back of the goal for the Foresters. Concordia Chicago, all 4 of their shots being found on net. However, Maggie Kirsten has certainly lived up to her reputation this afternoon. Kirsten, one of the better goaltenders in the Midwest Valley Conference. And now for the first time here in this second half, the Cougars will have a corner kick to work with. Broken up as Brown boots this one right into the breadbasket of Kirsting in net. Excellent rollout down the far left side. Broken up quickly by Fernandez as Glodowski tried centering it over the middle. Was unable to do so. As one person to beat as a great defensive play there on the back end from Megan Wilkinson. Wilkinson certainly tried to bail out her goalie in Salenzi by kicking that one out of play. Ball centered over the middle and is stopped once again. Down on the turf by Salenzi, she has certainly seen a number of scoring opportunities go her way. That's the first shot on goal that she's been able to stop this afternoon. And Lake Forest once again is looking to turn up the heat and keep the pressure on. However, the Cougars have something to say about that. Nice lead pass as a whistle is blown. As a foul will be called on Concordia Chicago. As that was on Malika Kenworthy. First foul called on her this afternoon. Cougars back in possession of it. Allie Brown working her way around. Brown up to Falkenstern. Couple of headbutts. Bouncing back and forth like a pinball machine. Right around midfield. Cougars have numbers to work with here. As Kenworthy was unable to keep that one in the field of play. Close to 15 minutes gone by here in the second half. No score as of yet, as Concordia Chicago is looking for the old equalizer here in the second half today. Some rough play down in the far left corner. Instituted by one of the elite forwards on this team for Lake Forest, and Dzinski. Corner kick out in front of the net, and that one will squeak by and squeak in. So an excellent corner kick set up there by the Forsters. As just that little extra touch that was sent home by the Forsters on the front side of the net will now give them a 3-1 advantage here today. Lake Forest has had limited opportunities, but it seems like they've made every single one of those count, as Gerard Greta the freshman from Appleton, Wisconsin, will pick up her first goal of the year. Gerard, not listed as one of the starters today by T.R. Bell, a substitute defender, was able to just touch that one past the goalkeeper in Salenzi. And the Cougars are really behind the eight ball now and looking for any opportunities to try and get some shots on net against Kirsting and Lake Forest. A couple of touch passes up on the front right side. Concordia looking to conjure up some numbers, as Brown swarmed by red jerseys. That'll be knocked out by Lake Forest. First time that Lake Forest has scored 3 or more goals in a game against the Cougars since September of 2010. However, this Foresters team certainly does provide a lot of firepower, and some of their lead candidates have gotten the job done today, such as Julia Larson, their leading goal scorer from last year and this year. And a couple of their substitutes as well, as now Lake Forest, now with a 2-on-1 break, broken up over the middle of the field by Fernandez, circling around and being able to knock that away momentarily, as the clear is finally completed by Katana Watson. Ball will stay in possession of Lake Forest. Free kick is allowed once again. Last time that happened, the Foresters were able to capitalize on a second half goal. A free opportunity right out in front of the net, as that will go right into the hands of Salenzi. Cougars now bringing up back over midfield. Set up back over by the defenders now by Lake Forest. Fighting for it and not being able to keep the ball in play is number 17 for the Cougars and Malika Kenworthy. Some aggressive play by Itzel Calderon, as always the fiery young midfielder, the sophomore from Oak Lawn, Illinois. Calderon, who went to St. Ignatius College Prep, teammates with one of the many starting defenders today for the Cougars, and Valeria Fernandez. Both ladies attended St. Ignatius College Prep together. Fernandez in the class of 2020, Calderon the class of 2019. Misexecuted headbutt there from Lake Forest, as that'll be a foul called on Madeline Moser, one of the lead forwards for the Foresters, the Chicago, Illinois native. Free kick for the Cougars will spin away. Touch pass over to Amon Shepard. Shepard, who scored the go-ahead goal in the first half for the Foresters, will now watch one of her lead defenders kick it away. Headbutt over to Brown. In the middle of the field, was not able to get past Kate Gear, getting some of her first minutes this afternoon for Lake Forest. Might be one of those opportunities for T.R. Bell to play some of his freshmen and sophomore substitutes on the bench with a 3-1 lead and with a little over 20 minutes left to play here in this second half. Bell, who has steered an excellent ship for the last 16 years for Lake Forest, looking to pick up his 249th career victory today for the Foresters. Ball set up over the middle half of the field, advanced down towards the right side in the corner, being able to break free, putting a shot on net and getting swallowed up as Kirsting goes down to a knee. Just the second shot on goal this second half by Concordia Chicago. As this one now will trickle away down in Cougar territory, as Salenzi quickly boots it out as soon as she got it. As Moser and Fernandez both fight for that one. They both end up on the playing surface, as a yellow card will now be issued to Madeline Moser. So the first time that a yellow card has been brought out by a referee here today. So unfortunately for Concordia Chicago, that yellow card happened to come in their own territory as a free kick, down by 2 goals with 20 minutes left. Certainly would be a lot more enticing if it happened down in Lake Forest territory. As this will come right back for the Foresters. Concordia Chicago matching their shot total back on last Wednesday in their first game of the year against St. Mary's out in St. Mary, Indiana. However, 1 shot on goal is all that was accumulated over their 6 shots. So the one thing that Concordia Chicago can at least hang their hat on today is they've been a lot more efficient offensively in getting shots on net. And, of course, finding one to find the back of the net up to this point. A poor pass made by Julia Larson. Trying to find Shepard up the front right side, as this will now be in possession of Concordia Chicago. Moser, once again getting involved in the action after recently receiving a yellow card just a few moments ago. After a foul was called on Fernandez. Now Moser will have an opportunity to try and boom a free kick about a fourth of the way towards the net. Let's see if it goes towards Salenzi. It does not. This one, however, does trickle towards that direction and will be kept in the field of play. 20 minutes to go here in the second half of action from Concordia Stadium here in River Forest, Illinois this afternoon, as Concordia Chicago is looking to get into the win column for the first time this season. Once again, non-conference play going on today as Lake Forest and Concordia Chicago playing just their 10th matchup, dating all the way back to 2004. Head coach Shani Paul in her fourth year at the helm for Concordia Chicago, looking to produce her first winning season as a part of this women's soccer program for the Cougars. Salenzi now kicking away for the Cougars. That is knocked down, broken up. A lot of contact there on the far side of the field. Grace Godalski once again right in the middle of the action. The lone goal scorer today for Concordia Chicago. She appeared in all 10 matches last year for the Cougars. Did not find the back of the net. Godalski, of course, primarily used as a defender, sometimes a midfielder for head coach Shani Paul. Certainly racked up a lot of high school accolades at Plainfield Central, however. The four-year varsity state premiership primetime player of the week. I was also a part of the Southwest Prairie Conference Scholar Athlete as well. Cougars for the first time in many minutes now trying to conjure up an attack as the speedy Allie Brown on the far side of the field rings things back around. As Lake Forest has done an excellent job of applying a ton of pressure every time the ball comes in their end today. A volley out in front of the net will be too strong. 3 white jerseys were surrounding Kirsting out in front of the net. However, to no avail. Concordia Chicago today, of course, in their home whites. The Foresters in their road reds. High volley out in front of the net. Trying to break this one up is Salenzi. And staying inside of the penalty box, and her area keeps it there. And will be granted to clear this one out. Not the only soccer action going on in town today. As starting right around the 2 o'clock hour here at Concordia Stadium this afternoon, it'll be men's soccer action as they will face Carleton College for the first time in school history after coming off a exhilarating 2-1 victory against the Elmhurst Blue Jays just a couple days ago. The men's soccer program here at Concordia Chicago will try and keep their record perfect as they get ready to play their second game of the year as well. Coming up next after the conclusion of this game here today between Lake Forest and, of course, Concordia Chicago. Lake Forest once again threatening, and a kick that sidewinds its way down into the close corner. And out towards the back line, so that will be given to Salenzi and the Cougars. Concordia Chicago will have to work quickly and make the most out of every chance that they have with the ball in their possession. Now under 15 minutes here today in the second half. Things starting to look very dim for the hometown Cougars this afternoon. Incredibly enough, for the 3 goals conjured up by Lake Forest this afternoon, none of their goals have been of the assisted variety. As a hard tackle there by Alyssa Zanos of Lake Forest will commit a foul on the play. Free kick issue to Concordia Chicago. No assisted goals as of yet for Lake Forest, as they've either come off of the quick turnover variety or of the corner kick variety. That one broken up by Falone. Pushed up the right side, returned right back to Brown. Brown circling around midfield and meets her match as this one is moved over to Moser. Moser now gets it to Steffi close side. Steffi now guarded by Fernandez, trying to deke her way around the right back for Concordia Chicago. As that touch pass for Moser was unable to find the chasing Steffi, as a foul is once again called on Lake Forest. Or offsides, I should say. A fight for possession, far side of the field. Broken up and sent back by the Cougars. Brown, once again the ball finds her feet, as that one ends up hitting the ref trying to evade the middle of action right around midfield. So that'll be granted as a free kick to Concordia Chicago. Fernandez trying to keep this one in the field of play. She cannot. That pass cannot find her. At the 12-minute mark here in the second half of action. Only one goal scored here in the second half by defenseman Greta Gerard at the 60-minute, 8-second mark, as the Foresters, right on cue, nearly just found the back of the net for the 4th time today, as that one gets away from Salenzi. Corner kick opportunity incoming. Close corner side for Alyssa Zanos of Lake Forest. Gets this one out in front of the net. Salenzi knocks it down. Still stays in Concordia's end. And that is where it'll stay. The ball is granted, however. Towards the Foresters. Fernandez now pressing. Up against Steffi. And Steffi gets knocked down. The ball gets pushed out backside. And Fernandez, who's played very aggressive up and personal today on the defensive side of things. Talking a little bit more about Fernandez. She stayed out there for every single minute today as Shani Pauls try to get the most out of most of her experienced ladies out on the field today. One of them being the girl in possession now in Allie Brown, who is unable to keep it in the field of play. Brown, Walters, Fernandez, Falone have all played all 79 minutes accumulated today here at Concordia Stadium. Talked about Lake Forest utilizing more of their substitutes than Concordia Chicago. Lake Forest has played 20 players here today compared to Concordia Chicago's 18. Watson will once again re-inbound for Concordia Chicago. Lake Forest trying desperately to keep this one out of their end. Watson makes sure it'll find the hands of Kirsting. Kirsting drop kicks it right around midfield. Falkenstern trying to fight for this one for the Cougars. Fernandez chasing after this. And we'll watch it sail out. Lake Forest once again deep into the end for Concordia Chicago as Megan Wilkinson, who got caught up with Julia Larson on that play. Wilkinson a little shaken up after that play. Moser fighting with it with Fernandez. Fernandez is able to come out of a ton of red jerseys with the ball. Does an excellent job of finding Brown with a touch pass in front. Brown now getting it over to Kenworthy. Kenworthy serves it over the middle. Let's see if Falkenstern can get a shot on net. And jumping out to get that once again is Kirsting. Coming down to the final minutes here in the second half today. Watson once again inbound for the Cougars. She has played a ton of minutes here in this second half. for Concordia Chicago. Forrester's back in possession. 8 shots on net for Lake Forest. They average right around 9.5 shots a game. Right around 7 shots on goal. They are below their average in both categories today. However, they have made their opportunities count against the Cougars. Good pressure on the far side. That is quickly knocked down by Lake Forest. Fernandez gets to this one. Still stays in Concordia's end and will allow Moser to try and break through, but she cannot. Good job on the combination of Fernandez and Walters. Corner kick out in front of the net. And once again, banged up on the play on that high kick. Clock continues to tick as trying to walk that off is Wilkinson. Fatigue certainly starting to play a factor for that of the defensemen for Concordia Chicago, who have tried to fend off some of the elite forwards for Lake Forest this afternoon. As a quick substitution will be made as Falone will hop off after receiving that high kick. Quickly entering the game in her place is Lorena James. James getting some of her first action here today in the second half, with now under 4 minutes to go. Here today, these two teams playing for the first time since September of 2019. Lake Forest once again putting up pressure on the far side by Larson. Larson getting deep into Concordia territory. All for naught, however. That ball enters out of play. Clock continues to wind down. Salenzi barking for a new ball to come in quickly as that corner kick is put into play. In this second half today for the Cougars, they have not had nearly as many opportunities as they have had in the first half. Just 2 shots. In totality, just 1 on net for Concordia Chicago. Of course, fatigue possibly playing into a factor for the Cougars. However, most of the second half has been dominated by the Foresters down in the Cougars' end. Once again knocked out by Lake Forest. Watson inbound. Strong overhead toss that catches the body of Calderon. And with now under 2 minutes to play here in the second half, the Cougars, who have now pushed the ball over midfield into Lake Forest territory since right around the 9-minute mark. It's been quite a while since the last time Concordia Chicago really pieced together any semblance of offense, as the energy level for the Cougars this second half has unfortunately not been able to match what was an excellent first half for them offensively after they put up 5 total shots, all 5 of them finding the net. One, of course, finding the back thanks to Grace Godalski. There's an advancement there from the Cougars that is quickly batted out of play. That will stay in possession of Concordia Chicago. However, time continues to tick off the clock. Let's see if the Cougars can put together one more attack before time officially ticks away here on this Sunday afternoon for Division III women's soccer. Right out over the middle of the field of play, right outside of the penalty box. Is cleared back out for Lake Forest as they have numbers 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Pushed up the far left side. Couple red jerseys over the middle, quickly batted down by Marley Bobo. And that looks like it might be it for this game here today, as the clock will officially run down, and the Lake Forest Foresters, who play the role of road warriors today, come in and win their 10th consecutive game in a row against the Concordia Chicago Cougars. As the final today at 3-1. Some of the final numbers to pass along today statistically, as the Foresters were able to outshoot the Cougars 8-6 in totality. However, the Cougars found all 6 of their shots to find the net, as the Foresters were able to capitalize on almost every shot that they were able to get on goal on top of Cassie Salenzi. However, some of the firepower that certainly had to feel like was lost for this Cougars team this afternoon was losing Brittany Chancellor just 10 minutes into the first half of this game today, as the Cougars will fall to 0-2 to start their season, as the Foresters will leave Concordia Stadium today victorious at 2-1. However, the men's program next for Concordia Chicago University will try and stay perfect, as they will face Carleton College coming up next, looking to pick up their second win of the season. As today, women's soccer falls 3-1 to Lake Forest College. Coming up next, men's edition